I think life is made.
Welcome to the actor's side today. I'm so excited too because when I saw this movie, I'm Still Here, I go, whoa, this is amazing. And I saw it very early. And Fernanda Torres has since won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in Drama, and that was history making. And now history making again with a nomination for Best Actress at the Oscars. So exciting and so much acclaim. This is Fernanda Torres. Welcome to the
Hi.
actor's
Thank
side.
you, Pete, for having me.
And congratulations. Isn't
It's a
this exciting?
miracle, isn't it?
Well, in a way it is because when you have a foreign language picture, it's hard to
Exactly.
get distribution here, even if it is Walter Salles, the great Walter Salles, who did it, and to get it seen. And not only were you nominated, but I think the big surprise of Oscar nomination day was that the movie got nominated for Best Picture.
Also, a movie spoken in Portuguese with subtitles, which is a barrier here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's awesome.
That shows people were seeing it and really liked what they see because once they see it, it is such a powerful film. And
Yes, it's such a compelling story that touches people's hearts in a way that films rarely do. In
yeah,
a real way, I think. I think sometimes when I watch the movie, there is a Capra saying thing about this movie. You have a tragedy, but also have hope. You
yeah,
have like you don't leave the cinema, I think, with the feeling that you are destroyed and that's it. No,
no,
you have a hope in life.
there is hope, and it's wonderful. Oscar nomination day. What did you think? I mean, how did you react and hear about this?
Oh, I was in Lisbon in a break, brief break in this amazing, it's a crazy campaign to do it. And I refuse to watch on television because I hate expectations.
Yeah.
I hate this feeling of. And then my husband and my oldest son came and said, "Nanda, it happened." Then we started to talk, and it's funny because I called Walter was the first person I called, and he heard about. He didn't watch the television too, and he heard that the film foreign language was chosen, and then me, and he didn't hear
Best
the
Picture.
best pic. I said,
Oh.
Walter, best picture also. He said, best picture. So I was the one who gave him the news.
That's amazing. How are Oscars received in Brazil? How is it?
We all know about the
Yeah.
Oscars, not about Golden Globe, not that much, but the Oscars, like we all know some. We have some audience, but we all know about the Oscars, and this Oscar became like a national pride.
Is it
Became yeah,
really?
and it's gonna happen during Carnival.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
In
and they
Rio?
in Rio and all over. And in Rio they want to
I want
pop
to go. I want to go to
no
the Oscar. I don't want to go to the Oscars. I want to go to
to
Rio
Rio
with
during Carnival,
the.
and they want to podcast it in the avenue because we have this avenue where the samba schools parade,
Oh my gosh.
and they're like wanting to which is dangerous. I mean,
Yeah.
because I don't want people to get upset. I want them to be happy. You see,
Yeah. Right. Oh, you mean?
whatever the results
Oh
are, you
yeah.
see, please. And I think they're like talking to people to be happy anyway
No
with
matter
any.
what
Of
happens.
course,
My
please.
God,
Yeah,
this is like huge.
dangerous. It's huge. And another funny thing is that in Brazil, to to become a fantasy, a costume in Carnival, it's really a big thing. And
Yeah.
now I have a lot of Fernandas parading the streets, dancing during Carnival. It's really
That's
something.
wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. Well, this is not the first time this has happened in your family. Obviously, your mother, world famous, was nominated.
Yeah.
You are the second. She was the first from Brazil in this category in Oscar
Yeah, our
history.
DNA have Oscar nominations now.
Of course, I'm talking about Fernanda Montenegro and the wonderful Central Station, which was also directed by the same director, Walter Salles, and she was nominated in the Golden Globe category that you won.
That's
So,
it. But the film won at that time.
oh,
Central Station won. So
one.
now we have
Okay.
a Golden Globe. Walter has for each category.
I love it. Well, she is in this movie, particularly at the end. We see her. She's 95 years old. Amazing. And still working, right?
More than me.
More than you.
She's unbelievable. Last year, she adapted a monologue about Simone de Beauvoir that she was doing like in little theaters and bigger. And last year she did in a theater for 1,000 people, projected to a square outside to 14,000 people.
Oh my God.
It was so beautiful in a park listening to her saying Simone de Beauvoir. It's unbelievable.
What does she think about all this for you, working with Walter in this kind of reception?
I mean, it's so touching, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so, and she said this wonderful phrase in an interview. She said, you know, I lived enough to see it. So beautiful. It's unbelievable because it's so tough to have a film spoken in Portuguese, because Portuguese is not even Spanish, that you have a great community all over the world. It's almost another dialect of the Latin language. And suddenly, because of Walter, we're here again. It's very touching. And to tell this story about a great Brazilian woman that not even Brazil knew about her.
No, you know, I mean, it was kind of unknown. And your mother, Fernanda, it's so confusing with your family because it's Fernanda, Fernando.
I mean, I keep asking them, why did you do it with me?
I know. The mother, the father, you all have a similar name. It's got to be crazy in that house, you know.
Yeah.
But she's in it playing the older version of your character here. And they could have just made you up and made you older and do that. How did she wind up in that role?
She was there before me. Walter, she was in the film from the beginning.
Oh.
And I was the one who was invited later.
Oh.
It's true. And, you know, this is a funny story. It started in Italy. When we showed it in Venice Film Festival, someone came and said, the makeup artist is amazing. She ages so well. And then we thought it was something from Italy. But then we moved to Toronto, New York, and the same thing happened. And when we arrived in LA, they changed for the CGI. It's unbelievable because she ages so well.
Oh, that's
so she was there from the beginning. And you know, it was beautiful because I did Foreign Land with Walter. 30 years ago, before Central Station, and it was a very important film for all of us. A formative movie. I think Walter founded himself as a director in that movie. Then he did Central Station, and I'm still here now. It's like we are unites again. It's like the reunion of Foreign Land with Central Station, and we deserved it, the three of us, I think.
So amazing. So amazing is this story, this true story. This woman, what happened in the early 70s, very political. The military comes in, basically takes her husband away and you, and then you get out and your character, and she spends all those years trying to find out what happened, never saw him again. And you know,
and
he just disappeared. He was disappeared.
He disappeared, and the body disappeared. They never found the body.
They just pulled him out of the house.
So they tried, really, the dictatorship to erase Rubens Paiva's existence.
Unbelievable.
What we had of Rubens Paiva was the headline: he was tortured and killed by the dictatorship, the only congressman that had this terrible destiny. And we just had this pale photograph of his face. And then this film is so beautiful because from that pale photograph, we remake all the photographs of the family. That was the first approach to the film. We were like redoing the photographs, and then a lot of pictures in a movie, like a movie's a section of pictures. So now we have them back. We have this family alive and this man alive that they tried so much to erase. So it's also a film about oblivion. It's art fighting against oblivion in a way. And making it happen. So it's beautiful.
And she became quite well known and famous, a lawyer who also
Never famous.
never famous, but she dedicated to
Justice,
justice
education.
and
It's
everything.
like that after his disappearance. She was a woman raised to be the great housewife
Right.
and woman behind the man.
Yeah.
And that's a funny part of this story because as this awful thing happened to him, she's forced to become herself. So it's a woman that invents and finds who she is because, in a way, of this tragedy. Then, at the age of 46, with 5 children, she goes back to university
Yeah.
and she becomes a lawyer
which
and
is
she
amazing.
becomes a human rights lawyer
Wow.
fighting. She understood, I think, that what happened to her, it's no different from what happened to a lot of minorities or people like indigenous. So she became a very important lawyer of indigenous reserves. She's responsible for the reserves that nowadays you have the forest there because of her.
Wow.
So it's a woman ahead of her time, you see. And she never wanted any recognition for that.
Yeah.
So for all of us, the book that her son wrote, I'm Still Here, was like, oh my God, look at this woman. Because she was the widow of Rubens and the mother of Marcelo, because Marcelo is a very famous writer in Brazil. And now with the movie, everybody knows about her.
It's so
beautiful.
amazing. And the right wingers in Brazil know about her too, because there's been Michael Barker, who's distributing this with Sony Classics, told me, you know, there's been this right wing revolt in Brazil against this.
Very similar from
Yeah.
what happened here.
That what I find fascinating, you know, all these
It's
years
not
later.
surprising. It's the same right wing
Yeah.
all over, I think.
And the same thing, and they have the same problems, and how
Same
far we
thing.
haven't come.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I'm waiting for the next election because chances are we'll have them back. And yeah, so, and we were afraid with this movie, how would be the reaction? And that's the other amazing things, that the audience started to go to the movie theater. It doesn't matter which ideology they have,
Right.
which is something that was not happening. We were living, like you, in this binary world where people didn't talk to each other if they have different beliefs. And this film, I think that's because it's about a family, a very archaic thing that is a family and the loss of a member of a family. It brought together everybody, right wings, left wings, center, progressists, old fashioned people. And it's like also teaching almost to the young generation, what does it really mean to live in a dictatorship?
Yeah, you know, it's happening around the world again now.
Yeah.
This is a cautionary tale, but that's the power of film and the power of you as an actor being able to bring these, like you said, to bring her story that nobody knew, and to bring it out now when it's so important.
You know, if I did something right in this film, was to be faithful to her. If there is something that we did, we really wanted to be faithful to this woman that never showed herself as a victim, that used her smile in order to, and her intelligence and her politeness and her civility. I think it's a woman that fought for civility. And we're living now in very uncivilized times, like she was living at that time during the Cold War, because the dictatorships are part of the Cold War in South America. So if we did something right, was to follow her. And that's what brought me here, I think.
It's amazing. In preparing for it, the home, the co-stars, creating the family, you lived in the home, didn't you? That you shoot in, and
yes,
yeah.
we lived there. We had the chance to rehearse there for a month with the family before, to create like a sense of family. And we had two children that were not actors.
Oh, wow.
And they brought us, I think, some liveness, some freshness that we
Right.
didn't have. And we shot chronologically, which was very important for the realism of this film.
Right.
And also because it was a memory, because Walter, he used to go to that house when he was an adolescent.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's a house that introduced him to the best of Brazil. That was the progressist Brazil from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
And so, as it was a memory of Walter, I think he wanted to do it in a very realistic way. He didn't want it to look like fiction.
Yeah.
And that's another special thing about this film. It's almost like you were watching a documentary.
Yeah, partly shot on Super 8 and other kind of things that make it
Exactly.
even look like a documentary.
Exactly. And Walter is a documentarist.
Yes.
So he mixed it with the fiction part of,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so remarkable how this came about and the effect it's having in your long career. You know, is this the highlight? Is this the movie that you've been waiting for, everything leading up to be able to make? Or you've done so much stuff. I mean, when
Yeah.
you look at it, comedy shows, all this stuff on television, books. You are an author. You have written a couple of books. You're a columnist like
Yes.
me. You're a, you write
Long columns, which is tough.
You are a journeyman person in this business. You like doing it all, in other words.
Yes, in a way, you see, at the age of 30, I thought I got annoyed with the fact that as an actor, I had to wait for invitations. I understood that as an artist, I could do whatever I wanted. And
Right.
nowadays, especially because people are watching things in internet and then on television or cinema, it's so diverse that I could, as an actor, an artist, become a diverse artist.
Right.
And that's what I did. And it gave me so much freedom. So I was not expecting for the great part of my life. I was fine with my life.
Yeah.
But then I had the luck and the chance to portray this amazing woman. I felt a responsibility when I got the invitation. And I did my best to be faithful to her. But I don't know. I think life is made of highlights.
Yeah.
And you survive because you have those highlights, and also made by flops. So when you flop, you learn a lot.
What did you flop?
I flopped big time.
What's your worst flop?
It was a soap opera.
Oh, no.
At the age of 19. Was terrible, and it made me say I will never do it again because I'm not made for that. And it was
God.
like,
What did your mother say about that?
My mother, she does soap really good. She does everything, but I don't know how to do it. And it was like the leading lady, the young one, and they cry a lot.
Yes.
And they are dumb. And I was like, please. So I said, no, I can't do it.
Oh, my God.
And then it took me 30 years to go back to television after that.
Is that right?
Because I was like, I was doing theater, cinema, and then I came back with comedy. For me, in television, it's much more easier to do comedy because it's pleasant.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And it's such a heavy work that to do comedy, I can survive. But to cry every day in television is...
Oh, yeah, soap operas, I know. But people just get so addicted to those and those characters.
But they are very important in Brazil, soap opera. You know why? Because soap operas, first, they are good. We had great authors in the 70s, in the 80s especially, great soap operas. And they made Brazilian people learn to watch themselves in Portuguese. So soap operas were really important to make us addicted to ourselves. You see, to do not be so colonized by foreign cultures. So it was important.
I have to say, this must be bringing you even more attention internationally and here in Hollywood. Are you getting offers now that you have not gotten?
No, not yet. What I have that I've never had before is a manager. It's the first time a great guy, that's John Lyles, a friend of mine from Focus Feature. he said, I think Frank Frattaroli is the nice guy for you. So now I'm starting a conversation, but I don't have anything yet. And
Yeah.
I have 59 years old and an accent.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, you know, I think this is becoming a great time for older actors.
I
You know,
agree.
we're seeing that.
This year for female actresses
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
It's like never happened before
I
like
agree.
this. So something's in the water.
No, and also I think Hollywood is much more international nowadays.
Yeah.
Even the voting for the Oscars,
Oh,
it's
it's
happening all
definitely.
over. So I think, in a way, the states are like open itself to the world as well. So I
Yeah.
think perhaps it's possible.
Well, I know you're looking forward to go to the Oscars. Do you
Yeah,
have your dress picked out and everything? They
it's
they like to come
the
to
last dress of a long, long, my God, red carpet live.
It's all of that fun stuff. But it's have you been to the Oscars before? Did you come when your mother
Yes, I
was
did.
nominated?
No, I did
Yeah.
a film called 4 Days in September
Uh-huh.
about the kidnapping of
Oh, Bruno Barreto.
that's it,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the American ambassador,
Right.
which is the reason why Rubens Paiva was tortured and killed.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
strange.
Wow.
And I
That was
did that
nominated.
film, and it was nominated for foreign
Oh,
film, and
wow.
was the only time that I've been to the Oscars.
Oh, cool. Well, you'll have fun. And I'm going to have fun because I've decided I'm going to Rio for
Of
Carnival and I'm
course,
going to
that's
see
the
the
place to
Oscars.
be, man.
Right there. This is going to be great. Fernanda Torres, best of luck. Thank you. The movie
Thank
is
you very
I'm
much.
Still Here, and it is actually playing in something like 700 theaters right now, which is amazing as well.
Another miracle. And it's doing good in
I
movie
know,
theaters.
doing
So
great.
this is wonderful.
So, good news all around. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us on the
very
actor's
much. It
side.
was wonderful.